It is a good time to be a hockey content creator in the sphere of YouTube at this moment. Why? Well, because there are so many things that are going on that warrant making videos about. I am having a tough time nowadays selectively looking and picking and trying to choose what videos to make and what conversations are more important than others, that they actually deserve videos to be made about them. And at this point in the season, early on, beginning of November, after all the hype we had at the start of the year, there are so many Vancouver Canucks related conversations that we can have. But none of them come close to this. Now, you kind of have a sense as to where we're going with this video based off of the title, based off of the thumbnail, but I guarantee you this stat is not going to be anywhere near your radar. So, before the stat becomes outdated, and before the Canucks play off against the Ottawa Senators at 4 p.m. PST today, let's talk about how good their goal differential has been compared to prior years of other teams in the NHL. So, going over to the NHL standings, the Vancouver Canucks in 12 games played, a 9-2-1 record, have themselves 54 goals for and 24 goals against. At the time of recording this audio, they are first in the NHL in goals for in the league. Now, in terms of goals for per game, it kind of gets a bit wonkier there, but there are some teams that have a bunch of goals for per game. Vancouver is near the top. In terms of just straight hard goals, they are the top. Meanwhile, for goals against, Vancouver is second best in the NHL, second only to the Boston Bruins, who have 23 goals against versus Vancouver's 24. Talk about systems, talk about everything just going well for this team. When you talk about what the guys are doing right, the offense is scoring goals, the defense is saving goals, Thatcher Demko is a monster. When Demko isn't in net, Casey DeSmith is carrying the load. There are so many good elements to this Vancouver Canucks team right now that it's kind of ridiculous just how everything has aligned so far. They've been phenomenal. But this goal performance right here, if you map everything out and you do the differentiations, the Vancouver Canucks, at the time of recording this audio, have the best goal differential in the NHL. 54 for and 24 against is a differentiation of 30, which is 9 above the Vegas Golden Knights, who are second place. It is 13 above the LA Kings, who are third. In fact, just going over to the teams outside the top 5, there's no team with 10 plus on this goal differentiation outside of the Rangers, the Bruins, the Kings, the Knights, and the Canucks. There are 5 teams that have been so good in terms of goal differentials this season, and Vancouver is the best one by far. In fact, this is the tweet that ignited this video. It came out a few nights ago after the Canucks beat the Oilers, but hey, OptaStats has got you covered with the most obscure stats on the scene. The Vancouver Canucks are the first NHL team to outscore their opponents by 30-plus goals over the first 12 games of the season since the 1984-1985 Edmonton Oilers. And they did so on their way to winning the Stanley Cup in that season with a plus 39 goal differential rating. Now, if you scroll down, you can see the other stat. This excludes the team goals awarded to shootout winners, so there's probably some caveat where another team had the same amount of goals in their differential, but there was a shootout tossed in there, so it's not really the same. The Vancouver Canucks had themselves 30 plus in terms of just regular goals because they haven't won a shootout this year yet, so yeah, good for them, right? Now, if you search up that lustrous 1984-1985 NHL season and you see where everything aligns, of course, the Oilers won the Stanley Cup. That's the thing. We all know how that went down. But the Oilers didn't even lead the NHL in points at the end of that year. They were second behind the Philadelphia Flyers. The Flyers went 53-20 with 348 goals for and 241 goals against, a differentiation of 107. The Oilers had a 49-20 record, 109 points on the season, 401 for, 298 against, and a 103 differentiation. These were the two best teams in the NHL by far. And, I mean, look, the Oilers ended up going out there and winning the Stanley Cup against the Philadelphia Flyers, so, hey, pretty storybook ending, not really the biggest surprise out there. Oh, the top two teams in the NHL made the finals that year. Good surprise, right? No, not really a surprise. But if you go over to the Oilers in 84-85 and you see who was on this team scoring points, Gretzky had 208 points in 80 games played. Curry, 135 in 73 games played. Paul Coffey had 121 points in 80 games. He had guys like Mark Messier actually not produce as much as we thought they could have. 54 points in 55 games played. Either way, this team had 7 50-plus goal scorers and 5 80-plus point scorers. Not to say the Vancouver Canucks are going to go out there and do exactly the same thing, but it's a very good number of guys to be compared to in terms of team performance. The Vancouver Canucks have a few guys that are on pace for over 100 points at the moment, but nobody that's on pace for 200. I don't think the Canucks have the next Gretzky in their lineup right now, but still, there are still so many things that can be talked about in regards to the 84-85 Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks outscoring their opponents in the same way that team did 40 some odd years ago. The reason I wanted to make this video as well is because the Canucks can do whatever against the Ottawa Senators, and we can still make this video. I wanted to make this one with this particular stat before the Ottawa Senators game because the stats are only as fresh as the Canucks versus the Oilers game from a few days ago, so that's kind of why I wanted to talk about this now. However, there are a few other things that I think do make themselves worth noting about in regards to this Canucks and Oilers matchup. You see, if you go back to that 84-85 Oilers squad, guess what? Their goaltending? I mean, look, their goaltending won them games. They were the second best team in the NHL with Andy Moog and Grant Fuhr going out there posting up .895 and .884 save percentages. But of course, we acknowledge that these numbers are not good in today's NHL. Goaltending is a lot better than it was back then, so Thatcher Demko, Casey DeSmith, barring any significant stupid injuries, they're not going to be .895 goaltenders on the season this year. Knock on wood, it stays that way, right? So if the Vancouver Canucks have themselves a legit chance at besting out this 84-85 Oilers team, it's gonna be in regards to the goaltending, and maybe so with that goal differentiation. Because if Thatcher Demko can just pull his weight and do what it is we're expecting out of him, keep the Canucks in it to win it, keep other teams at bay, make it so that these other teams have a difficult time scoring goals, then maybe the Canucks actually do have a chance at besting out that goal differential, but of course, it's tough to really project any team to have a goal differential of 100. I mean, right now, we're 15% through the season and the Canucks are plus 30. Can they really keep that up and finish the season off with a plus 100 whatever? Who really knows? Is that even possible in today's NHL? Who really knows? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Vancouver Canucks season being so good that, I mean, look, they're the best team in goal differential since the 84-85 Oilers. No other team has been able to do what the Vancouver Canucks are doing in terms of being able to score goals and keep the puck out of their own net since one of the best gosh darn teams of all time. How do you feel about the Vancouver Canucks performance heading into this Ottawa Senators game? And do you think the Sens game is going to increase or decrease that goal differential? Maybe we'll get some sort of an updated stat after everything is said and done that compares the Canucks to an even crazier version of the Oilers. Who really knows? But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.